Warning, do not trespass on private property. You may be shot. Do not trespass and dig on state property. You may get arrested. Always get permission before digging on anybody's property. Good morning, ladies and gents. I'm going to talk with you a little bit about buried treasure down here in Florida. Now, these are two actually documented cases of buried treasure. It's not just hearsay. This is documented here, and they are both having to deal with lost Confederate gold. The first one we got here today is the lost $1 million payroll. This story is very interesting because it is actually documented, just like the other one. The story is that Confederate soldiers led by Captain John Riley were tasked with moving $1 million worth of payroll to Fort Meade, Florida. Captain Riley was being pursued by Union troops and buried $200,000 in gold coins and the rest in Confederate currency. Captain Riley wrote, quotes here, "Chased by the enemy, we buried our payroll at a point in the Everglades, at a junction of two creeks where the land rises like a camel's back. The money is buried in the hump of the rise." Captain Riley and his soldiers went into the Everglades and hid, but when they came back to retrieve the money, they could not find it. Many people have their own conclusions, but it is believed that the payroll is located somewhere between Alligator Alley and State Highway 41 by the Seminole Indian Reservation. Now that one is very interesting to me, but also a long shot. The Everglades is an absolutely massive place, but I'm sure if you looked at maps and terrain and were able to find where two creeks crossed, and it actually had high points because the Everglades are a pretty low place. There's not many high points around there. I bet you could narrow it down and search, but again, do not dig on state property without permission. You will definitely get fined, if not arrested. And private property, always get permission. Now, people have been searching for this for a long time, and it hasn't come up, but that does not mean it's not out there. It's written down, it's documented. I guess Captain Riley there could have lied, but you never know. It's another treasure that's out there, just waiting to be found. The next we have here is a little controversial. People think it went every which way, but this one's about Florida here. The collapse of the Confederacy and the treasury being dispatched to Florida. April 2nd, 1865, Jefferson Davis flees Richmond by train. What is left of the treasury and banks of Richmond are put on boxcars and Conestoga wagons and 9 large buckboards and head south. April 30th, unsure where to set up the new capital and government, the train could not get past Sherman's forces who controlled the railroads. Then on April 9th, the bank funds are placed in a bank to be returned to Richmond, but the treasury is divided into wagons and go in separate directions. May 15th, a small wagon train enters Florida on a backwoods trail. 10 Confederate soldiers, 2 civilians, and 5 slaves travel at night to avoid capture. Because at this point, the Union's all over. Their game's done. The Confederate army up in Virginia had already put down their arms, so. May 22nd, the wagons reach Cottonwood Plantation of David Ewell. The soldiers give Miss Ewell bags of records and Jefferson Davis's personal belongings. That night, the 10 Confederates divide the money, giving each soldier 400 gold sovereigns worth $1,940, plus $55 in travel expenses. They give each civilian and slave $975 worth of gold. The records show that 10 soldiers surrender in Waldo and Baldwin, Florida, two different towns there, with no mention of finding any Confederate gold. It is believed that they buried it along the railroad route, knowing that they would be searched if captured. Very interesting. It's a long stretch, all the way Baldwin, Waldo, all the way down to the old sugar mill plantation. But stuff gets found all the time. It's supposed to be along the railroad. Always get permission. Tons and tons of land to be searched up around the railroad there. Probably not on the railroad, but somewhere nearby and probably marked. I could just picture them walking up, trying to get into the heart of Florida there. And there was all sorts of Union troops around. And they buried it. Or maybe they didn't. That's why it's a search for gold. If everybody knew where it was, it wouldn't be buried treasure now, would it? It'd be found treasure. So that's the exciting part. Get out there and find it, but do it safely. Don't trespass. Don't be illegal. Stay safe out there.